Welcome to Resale Radio. My name is Nick, a co-founder of Hustle, a community that Ethan and I have co-founded in order for resellers to share their journeys and help each other out with a few tips and tricks along the way. The link for that is in the description down below if you want to get involved. In there as well is the links to see Hannah from Handpicks, Depop, and Instagram if you want to check her out. She is our guest today. And I really appreciate just how clear her information was and how relatable she is as a person and as a reseller. I hope you guys think the same.
So first thing I want to hear is that you have got one of, if not the best names that I have seen through Handpicked, and I want to know how that name came about. Was it just a little bit of inspiration, or were you actually there for like a few hours trying to think of this name?
Yeah, it did take me quite a while. I think it was about 2 years ago that I changed it just from like my name. And yeah, I always see like people with such cool shop names. So I thought I did want, as soon as it came to me, I was like emailed straight away, like, can I have this username, please? So yeah, glad that you like it. Great
choice. That is me and my girlfriend, we talk quite a lot when we see good shop names. Like there's a shop in Croydon that's called Abracadabra.
There was one of them in Norwich when I was at uni.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
It sticks well, doesn't it? It just sticks well. What sort of like signified you becoming a store instead of just being someone who sells clothes out their wardrobe?
I mean, at the time I was already sort of like just casually sourcing items from charity shops to sell. And I just sort of thought if I make it so I look a bit more like a business, people might take it a bit more seriously and it might improve sales. So yeah, around that time I also like set up my Instagram. So yeah, and I think it definitely has helped to kind of set my name as a Depop shop.
Yeah, so it was more of just like a image kind of thing. It wasn't so much like you actually decided at this point, I'm going to change my name, I'm going to start up the Instagram, I'm going to get in a whole lot more stock. It was just the image that changed.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so did you actually see straight away a difference when you just started making a brand? So obviously things were exactly the same. The only thing that changed is the branding.
Yeah, literally just the name, and I made a logo. No, it wasn't that much, I don't think, to start with. It's just sort of, I feel like I've just gradually taken it more and more seriously as time's gone on. And especially I think I've noticed the difference since lockdown and everything, because I've just got so much more time on my hands and I've just used that time to spend on Depop basically. And yeah, I do feel like it's grown more from that really.
Yeah, because I think there's like quite a few different advantages to running something that's like an actual brand and an actual store. Because I think professionals, so the people that are messaging you just have that trust instantly. And then also, like you were saying, it's just that mindset shift. You just naturally take it a bit more seriously now. Like when you wake up, you're thinking, what have I got to do for Handpicked? Instead of, there's a few clothes sitting there.
Yeah, I definitely get that.
Yeah. So you were working part-time on this, you said, and lockdown, are you now sort of full-time on it?
Yeah, well, I work full-time at another job, but since lockdown I've been working from home, so I used to commute like 2 hours each way to work, so I was literally just not doing a lot, just like focusing on it on the weekends. So yeah, having that extra time has definitely helped. Yeah, and I guess it's kind of allowed us to be a bit more creative in terms of like where we source, because we used to just source just casually from charity shops, but as they closed, we sort of didn't really source anything for about 2 months, and I hardly sold anything even though I had quite a lot of items on my shop. So yeah, it's been really interesting to kind of learn new things in that.
Yeah, because I definitely feel that Depop rewards like daily activity, and so even though you've got the same stuff up, even if you were just to put a couple listings up, you would have been found a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but with this newfound time, how did you manage to fill it up? Well, firstly, did you even decide to fill it up, or was that more just sort of more time to relax, or did you take full advantage of this now that you've got an extra 4 hours to your day?
Yeah, I definitely took advantage. I guess around like April last year, sort of coming into summer, I was making most of like the time I was home that there was like daylight to take pictures, because normally it was just dark when I got home. So yeah, that was really good. And then I also got I actually got furloughed for about 2 months. So I essentially went full time for about 2 months before I had to come back to work. But yeah, and in that time I was able to, I guess, experience what it's like to be full time and kind of, put more energy into it.
So what kind of things do you do when it's full time? Because I'm assuming it's not just taking pictures and replying to messages that takes up all that time.
Yeah, I mean, at that time I'd been really wanting to kind of reshoot everything on my page. I'd sort of like found like the kind of style of photos that I wanted to use. So like I spent ages getting all of our stock out, getting it ready to be photoed and going through everything. And that really helped. So I think people think it's like something new when you've just changed the photos. But yeah, also kind of, getting some more stock in. We also kind of was when we started making some reworks, just kind of being creative with stock we already had. Playing around with everything really.
Yeah, so what inspired the reworks?
I guess I'd always really wanted to be able to sew. It's something that I used to watch so many YouTube videos about how to kind of rework and make crop tops, like the elasticated style. That even though I didn't have a sewing machine, I felt like I knew how to make one. So yeah, I got a sewing machine. I started off on a really old, we had this old mechanical one which you sew by moving the arm with your hand. So yeah, and I bet like I made, I just cropped this shirt that we'd had on the shop for about 2 years, and I was like, I may as well give it a go. And yeah, it sold really quickly. So since then, I've always kind of kept my eye out for clothes that are kind of damaged in some way, like maybe they've got a mark on the bottom that I can rework it and make it good.
So you're taking clothes that have almost no value, changing it around, using different parts of it to make it something new, and then profit off of. So I'm assuming there's big margins because there's got to be a lot of time invested into actually sewing the item and reworking it.
Yeah, it does take a lot of time. And there's also like buying, obviously, like you have to own a sewing machine, which isn't cheap, and buying like the materials to do it. But yeah, I definitely add about £5 or £10 to something, I'd say, by reworking it.
Yeah, and it adds a lot to the sustainability aspect, because obviously people resell clothes, but usually if it's got a little bit of a mark on it or if it's a bit damaged, then that just gets forgotten about, even by Depop sellers, which now which seems to be becoming a much bigger and bigger thing. Even those items now are going back into circulation.
Yeah, definitely. That was kind of a big motivation for doing it. And also, like, I try and only rework items like that need it. I haven't really, if an item's fine as it is, I try not to. I have, but I'll try, if it's in good condition, leave it as it is.
Yeah, that makes sense. So how big is sustainability to you?
Yeah, it is. There's definitely like loads more we could do in terms of the shop, like packaging and everything. But yeah, it is quite big to me. I did environmental science at uni, so I did loads of stuff on sustainability. I also worked. I did an internship with my local council in their waste team. So I saw like loads of the issues that are going on in in terms of landfill and recycling, like all aspects of that. And I was already doing Depop at the time, and it just kind of realised to me like how much of an impact selling secondhand clothes makes. Like if someone chooses to buy something, even if it's like a fast fashion brand, but if they buy it off Depop instead of buying it brand new, it's it's one less item going into circulation. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw on who is it? Like a ThreadUp report. Have you heard of ThreadUp?
Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, they released a report at the end, near the end of last year, showing like everything to do with the secondhand market. And one of the things that they were showing was that to shop secondhand is the way that any one person can have the biggest impact on helping the environment in terms of CO2 emissions. Like, and it was not just a little bit, but it was almost like double the next thing, which was like hanging your clothes out to dry instead of using a dryer. And it's just absolutely insane to think just the scale of the impact that you can have just from, instead of when you're going to buy clothes, going to the high street and going into any one of those stores, going onto Depop or eBay or Vinted or wherever these like marketplaces are, and grabbing something from there.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and I was speaking to Amy from Amy's shop yesterday. I don't know if the name rings a bell, but she was saying that you had come on and spoken to a group, I believe, in the Level Up program, and did a speech for them, or some sort of group of Depop sellers, and you've done a little talk just to help people out there.
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Well, she said it was handpicked.
I think sometimes I get confused with, there's a shop called Handpicked by Hannah.
Okay.
When I was on the Level Up program, she did a talk for us. So.
Oh right. Okay. Well, could you shine some light on what exactly the Level Up program is?
Yeah. Essentially, it's for anyone that's sort of interested in making their Depop shop into a bigger thing, and kind of getting on the track to being verified. I don't think you even have to, I'm not sure whether there's any sales targets that you have to have hit in order to get on it, but it's really just like the starting steps. So I think it was last summer that I did it. And it was just a couple of Zoom calls. It was nice to meet like other Depop sellers as well. And yeah, that's pretty. I think you also get a feature on the Meet the Sellers section. And there was one thing they did, which was if you hit like a monthly target, you got 2 weeks of free fees. So that was pretty good.
There's lots of incentives for it then.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't think it massively helped me. I mean, I think at the time that I did it, I was already sort of I'd started to hit the 50 sales per month target. So if I wasn't already at that level, I don't know how much it would have helped. But yeah, it was nice to be a part of something.
I see what you're saying. It's better for if you were a newer seller trying to find your feet, then you think it would have a much bigger impact.
Yeah, I'd say it kind of gets the ball rolling quicker. Kind of pushes you to
apply for it and to try and get involved.
Yeah, I think you can apply online. I actually got an email and they asked if I wanted to apply, and you just have to fill out one of their forms and just say a little bit about your shop. But yeah, it was, I definitely recommend doing it.
Yeah. Have you managed to stay in contact with anyone?
Yeah, I think I followed a couple of people on Instagram I'd already followed them before the Level Up thing. So yeah, I definitely stay in contact with them. It's nice to see that a couple of them have also got verified or were close to being as well.
So what excites you about Depop? What makes it what it is, so that you can actually wake up and every day you can do little bits towards your store, and that motivation doesn't just drop and you leave it? Because you have a job. It's not just for the money.
Like I don't really think about the money, so I do it with my mum as well. So I guess you're the same, doing it with someone else by the time you like split anything, there's not a lot of money left at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love it. I love you know, seeing clothes that whether I like them or I know that like they're popular, thinking that like, you know, someone really like this. Yeah, and also I don't know, I don't know what it is. I guess because it's sort of like a social media, Depop, the way it's set up, kind of like you want to, you know, like keep putting new things out, staying on top of your game and stuff.
So it's the sort of like community side of it, that side of like just showing
Yeah,
your work.
yeah, I like there is like a really good community. I noticed that like when I joined Instagram, like I never really realised how many people were like so serious about Depop, and that there's so many people that do it full time now. So yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's really cool.
definitely. Massive. When you start to really get like into the community, you realize there is a ridiculous amount of people that are trying to do this and taking it very seriously. I think it's
Yeah,
Depop has been able to provide this platform, and it's almost like a stepping stone, because a lot of people then start to build their own business and their own brand from it. But Depop has managed to give you this place where you've got all the customers, the marketing. It's already given you a layout for how to present your clothes. And I'm wondering, from speaking to you, I don't imagine this in your future, but do you have any plans of branching out from this, or is this just something you enjoy doing as a part-time thing with your mum and you enjoy the clothes?
oh, I don't know. I'm always really torn between it. I would love to be full time in this because it makes me so happy. I love everything about it.
Mm.
But obviously, like at the moment, it's not. I'm earning more from my job than I am Depop, so I'm not in a position to think about it at the moment. But yeah, it's always kind of on my mind. But then also on the other hand, when I was on furlough last year, and I was only really doing Depop because I had nothing else to do, some of like the everyday tasks of Depop, I just found them so boring. Like bumping my listings, all of that side of it. I feel like at the moment it's sort of like procrastination. But when it was like that was all I had, like I had to do it every day, I was just it's crazy how like different I viewed some of the things.
Yeah, that's what I got from speaking to Ross from Casuals Warehouse a few weeks ago. The episode came out recently. That he was saying that one of the things that's stopping him from going full time is just the fact that when you go full time and now there's all the pressures with the money, you just view it completely differently. And at the minute, he loves it. And I think that's one of the things people don't always consider when they're going full time, because then you just get a lot of pressure on it. It's not something that you come home from work and now you want to do it. It's something that you have to do, and that mental shift can do a lot on your perspective.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I also kind of think like what would change? Like I don't know. Like I could still put a lot more effort into it than I do now, and still work my job. So it's sort of like what would change if I went full time? Obviously it would be nice, but yeah, at the moment I can't see that I need to now.
Yeah, fair enough. What is it you do full time?
I work for it's called, my job title is Definitive Map Officer. So I work for the council, kind of like digitising the network of footpaths. Completely different to the
Wow. Yeah, completely different. This is almost like a little creative outlet for you.
I love that it's it's sort of like interesting because it's something that I just started doing I guess when I went to uni as something to like earn a little bit of money by selling my clothes and bits that I had, and then to what it is now, it's great.
Yeah. So what's the relationship like with your mum? Has it changed at all since you started doing Depop together?
So we actually first started selling on eBay like years ago. We just sold old clothes of mine and my mum's, just I think while I was in sixth form to get a bit of money, And obviously the way eBay is, if you sell on like an auction, it's like a 7-day thing. So like, you know, the stuff either sells really quickly or not. So like it was always sort of on and off because you don't like constantly have stuff for sale. But yeah, and then I think I kind of came across Depop, and I just really like the app. There's like a couple of issues I found with eBay in terms of when things go wrong, like it's a completely different layout. But I mean, I've like matured through selling like over the years anyway with things like that. But yeah, I think in terms of me and my mum selling, it's definitely been better since I've moved back home after uni, because we used to still sell on Depop while I was at uni, and we kind of have some stuff was with me, some stuff was with my mum, and it just like it was just complicated basically, and it was hard to because I do most of the photos. So if my mum had bought stuff, we'd either have photos that my mum was taking and I would take, and like the shot would look completely different. So yeah, it works really well now that I've moved back home. You know, we can like discuss things together about like buying stock, or if people message us, we can like confer. So yeah, it works really well.
You split up the roles, because Ethan and I had that same problem working together initially, that we both like to make it a 50-50 split. We split everything 50-50, and where we were always apart, originally we were probably about like 45 minutes away from each other, and then we ended up being like an hour away from each other. But we realized the best thing for us was for someone to take responsibility of this set of actions and the other person to take control of this. So it was like Ethan had all the physical clothes, taking the pictures, dealing with buying all of that stuff, and mine was all the online things. And we decided that split worked for us, and then things became a lot smoother, because otherwise we started running into that problem of, well, if I take a picture and you take a picture, mine's going to be laid flat on a carpet and yours is going to be hanging up on a white wall.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, because I assume you don't live together, like how you figured that out. Because yeah, we did. It was hard, especially like in terms of like if people wanted to buy more than one thing and they're like, they've got to be posted separately, things like that. But yeah, I think in terms of, I mean, I do all of the online stuff, so like obviously the Instagram I do, so it probably looks like it's just me. There's, and then I do kind of like the Depop app stuff as well, although my mum does bump sometimes, which is really good. But yeah, my mum, she's sort of like, she's quite good at sourcing stock, and also she's amazing at kind of making stuff good if it's got marks. She's so good at getting marks out of things.
Yeah, that's a mum's.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, amazing. Literally, like, there's very few that she can't get out. But yeah, and like she really helps with like the packing stuff and the organization. Yeah, she's quite creative as well. Like, look, like I do most of the reworks, but she kind of like comes up with a lot of ideas. She's like, why don't you do it like this? So yeah, I think we work quite well together.
You sort of got the yin and yang.
Yeah, and obviously, like, because it's my mum, we can just sort of say what we think about things. We tend to agree on most things, so it works quite well.
Yeah, could you imagine doing it on your own?
I could. I think I'd be a bit overwhelmed sometimes, like especially if you buy stuff in wholesale and it comes and there's like so much to do. I think it's good having two people to kind of like come up with a plan. It's also nice to have, it kind of gives you a bit more confidence in terms of like your pricing, or if someone messages you or anything, it's like someone to kind of back you up in your decisions. Yeah, I think we both found when we were like living separately when I was at uni, sometimes it's like a bit overwhelming having so much to do, but yeah, we work well as a team.
Good, good. Glad to hear it. Well, what we started to do now is at the end of these interviews, we just do a little quick fire round.
Okay.
Just going to be a few questions, and you just tell me the first thing that pops into your head. Okay. We'll start off with a few easy ones, which you should know just to get the ball rolling and the juices flowing. Okay. All right. So, what's your name?
Hannah.
Are you a boy or a girl?
Girl.
How old are you?
23.
What's your Depop name?
Handpicked.
What's your Instagram name?
Also handpicked.
All right. Eat in or eat out?
Oh. Eat out.
Cool. Burger or pizza?
Pizza.
Water or wine?
Wine.
Sports or TV?
TV.
Branded or unbranded?
Branded.
Nike or Adidas?
Adidas.
High-end designer or the inexpensive stuff?
Inexpensive stuff.
Color or grayscale?
Colour.
All right, cool. Nice one. There's a nice little insight into Unpicked just there. But yeah, no, thank you for the conversation. Is there anything else that you'd like, any other messages you want to get out?
No, I don't think so. I'm just like really happy to be on the hustle. I told you I'll be following it for a while, so yeah, really good.
No, it's been good to have you on. It's nice to hear your story, and
Thank you.
a lot of people are going to be able to relate to a lot of the things that you're doing. So yeah, no, thanks for coming on and sharing your story. Definitely.
Yeah, well, great, thank you.
So there's the conversation with Hannah. Like I said before, all of her links are in the description down below. Let me know what your favourite part of this episode was. And I hope you guys enjoyed listening to her working with her mum just as much as I did. I found that so relatable. I was working with someone else who you're not always in the same house with. It's not always the easiest, but when you can get it going, there are a lot of benefits to it, such as how you can bounce off each other, and when one person's slacking, the other one's on it. And even just dividing up the work is quite nice, to be honest. But yeah, like I said, link is down below if you want to get more involved in this community. And I hope you enjoyed today's episode.